Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. The Louisville SWAT team tells investigators raid on Breonna Taylor's home was an egregious act. Several members of the Louisville Metro Police Department SWAT unit responded to the raid on March 13th of this year. Members of the Louisville Members of the Louisville Metro Police Department SWAT unit who responded to the raid on Breonna Taylor's home have criticized the police, including one member calling the raid an egregious act. Lieutenant Dale Massey and other members of the SWAT team were interviewed by the Profession Integrity Unit following the 13th March raid. During the interviews, members of the SWAT team said the three police officers violated their basic rule of policing: identify the target and what's in the background before shooting. Sergeant Brandon Hogan called this rule basic academy stuff in interview transcripts obtained by the Louisville Journal-Courier. The member of the SWAT team who responded to the fatal shooting at Miss Taylor's apartment also told investigations they didn't know about the search of her residence. Even though police debriefed them about other simultaneous warrants that night, they actually didn't know about the police officer's search of Miss Taylor's home until they overheard an officer was wounded over police radios. The four team members said, "We're like, what are you talking about?" Mr. Massey recalled in an interview reported by WDRB. Again, back to the point that we had no idea they were doing a warrant. When Mr. Massey arrived on the scene, he observed multiple officers with their guns pointed at the apartment building. He told them to stand down. The target identification, there's nothing to point at because there's cars and everything else. You're just pointing a gun to point a gun, he said. Mr. Massey added he told investigators that serving multiple warrants at once was bad business and dangerous. Also, according to Mr. Massey, the search of Miss Taylor's residence was never mentioned during briefing about a larger narcotics investigation in Louisville. The Louisville Metro Police Department has declined to comment amid an ongoing investigation. Miss Taylor was shot and killed when Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly and Detectives Miles Cosgrove and Brett Hankinson fired more than 30 rounds after her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired what he described as a warning shot. Mr. Walker told investigators he did not know the police were at his door. Despite claims from police, they announced themselves multiple times. Instead, Mr. Walker said he thought someone was breaking in. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron's office ruled Mr. Mattingly and Mr. Cosgrove were acting in self-defense during the fatal shooting. A grand jury only indicted Mr. Hankinson, who was already fired from the police department, on 3 counts of wanton endangerment after he fired multiple shots into an occupied apartment in Miss Taylor's building. No police officer involved in the fatal shooting of Miss Taylor had been charged for her death. So basically, even your own people on your team said that you guys were making an egregious act. And plus, like I told you from that last report we talked about with Breonna Taylor, is that I believe these guys thought that they basically thought the guy was there. So what they did was they basically were trying to go in there, see if they could find the guy and do some harm to him, try to get a drug bust. They were some cowboys, and things went wrong because the boyfriend got up and he just shot a shot in the air just to let them know he's armed, and then they just started shooting because they were startled. They didn't think that, I believe, somebody would be there, or if they were there, they thought that they wouldn't be armed. So, well, they thought they would be armed, and they basically thought it would be the boy. They thought it would be the guy, but he was already in custody. So they decided if they went in, somebody fired a shot, they could be some cowboys and shoot him up. I don't think they intended to shoot her up. And I think when that happened, they had to lie saying, oh, the boyfriend shot the guy, when it just came back that the bullet that shot the police officer didn't match the boyfriend's gun. So what's going on here? It's a lot of smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Do you feel those police officers were wrong, and do you believe that those police officers had something to do with trying to cover up the case, allegedly? Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, share this to everyone. And my Cash App, if you want to donate to the page, is welcome to HDTV. That's the word welcome. The number 2 HDIITV. All right, thank you, and we're out. La boy.